The dog days are coming, and it's time to get to work across the nation, and specifically for the Canes in South Florida. We appreciate you stopping by here at the Voice of College Football. Typically on Wednesday night, we appreciate that Cam was able to adjust to my schedule this time around. So here we are, and hope you got that notification that we sent out when we scheduled the show on Sunday for right now, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So that's a big reason why you do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for the notification to know when we go live. Cam Underwood, of course, right next to me. State of the U is the destination, and this is the time to lock in during training camp starting this week.
Yeah, man. So getting back on the field. We are 4.5 weeks away from the opener. So yeah, busy time. So, talk is great and the previews are wonderful and I love doing them. But we're about to get to the business end of the football season. So, starting by, beating up on each other during practice, but then, lining up against, teams from other places. And that's exciting.
Yeah, we're going to get to a time where there's almost too much to talk about in 1 hour because you're looking back at the previous game, you're looking ahead and previewing the next game, and there's a lot of football to talk about. So it's been much anticipated and waited for because it's the longest off season in all of major sports.
Yeah. But, and before we get into it, obviously here on the channel, but then as well, in addition, stateoftheu.com. These are great places for you to go to hear me talking and read the words and presentation of myself and others. So please come on over and fan with us. Like and subscribe there. Like and subscribe here. But yeah.
So when we look at training camp starting up here, what position battles have you most interested?
Slot receiver, with the addition of Tony Johnson from Cincinnati. So now you really have 3 viable candidates there. Tony Johnson being a 5th-year senior, I want to say. Malachi Tony, the all-world, everything 17-year-old who should be a senior in high school, remember, and reclassified up and still won the Nat Moore Award as the best player in South Florida over everybody and anybody that whose name you know. That kid, and Ray Joseph, who is just, an electric playmaker that everybody in America wanted and at one time was committed to Clemson. That was really kind of a function of Matty Diaz being here because Ray Joseph is 5'9.5", and he didn't really want even, which is crazy considering Restrepo's that same size. He was not really pursued by Diaz and company. And then Cristobal was like, we're going to change that because this kid from Edison, we need him. So you have 3 reasonable candidates there for playing time. I don't know how the division of playing time is going to go. But of any position, that's one, at the forefront of everybody's brain. There's a lot of positions, especially on offense, that are settled. Offensive line, I think, is set it and forget it. Markel Bell, Matthew McCoy, James Brockermeyer, Anez Cooper, Francis Mawanoa, absent injury. That's your 5, set it and forget it. Now you got guys who can come in and rotate. Ryan Rodriguez is a, interior lineman who can, and everything. And in the video game, he's rated higher than Matthew McCoy. What in the world? McCoy over, and look, I think that Rodriguez is a fine player, and everything, but nah, give me Matthew McCoy. But yeah, I think that 5 is the set it and forget it. Tight end is going to be Elijah Lofton as a Swiss Army knife, Jack Bowman, and then maybe, mixing in. And there's 5-6 dudes in that room who can play. Wide receiver, X and Y. X and Z a lot. Running, there's a lot of talent there. Running back, there's a lot of talent and everything. So, yeah, man, there's a lot. But on offense, I would say slot receiver is the position that I'm most focused on in terms of a position battle or who's going to play. The other one for me is linebacker. All 3. It's really both because you really play 4-2-5 multiple. So you got a safety overhang player, but you're not really playing, it's not going to be Quarterman, Pinckney, and McLeod. like it was. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to, or the, remember, I was not a Miami Hurricanes fan growing up, but like the Bermuda Triangle, Darren Smith, Jesse Armstead, and Michael Barrow. Got it. Bang, bang, bang. See? I know my stuff. What's up with it? But it's not going to be like all three of those guys at linebacker on the field at the same time. It's going to be two, more likely than not. And then so we'll see, Mohamed Toure, who played for Heatherman at Rutgers previously, coming back off of a couple of injuries. Wesley Saint, does he step up further? Popo Aguirre, does he step up even more? OG Bobby Pruitt, does he take a big step forward? Adarius Hayes, any of these other guys in the room. So, and I think that there will always be rotation along the defensive line. Always be defensive, rotation there. I'm interested to see how the hierarchy works out. And then just which individuals are the cream of the crop in the secondary. I have my ideas on it, on who I think is going to start there. I just want to see how that goes. I think getting the transfer Jacoby Thomas from Tennessee was big. So now you have him and freshman All-American Zachariah Poyser at safety. Set it and forget it. And then, some things. So on offense, slot, on defense, linebacker, just in totality. Because I think, especially with Heatherman coming in, running something slightly different and not being married to anybody on the roster and bringing in a guy that he had, coached previously, I think that is the defensive position that could see the most flux from what once was. Well, I mean, outside of the secondary, because we know we brought in 18 billion new guys. So, but, and it seems to be that they've already kind of been working in a direction of these are who the guys are going to be, right? But linebacker is just it could be anybody, anywhere. Mr. HD, yeah, gotta love it. And to Muhammad Hussein's point, start Pruitt. Hey, man, Bobby Pruitt, this is a guy who can play. He's thin. We know that. He has a lithe build. But, man, he's a heat-seeking missile. He's a monster on specials. I don't know. If you're rooting for him to start, I have nothing to say against that. My only thing is, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to start, especially if he has to play inside, but play in space too, man. We'll see. I get it from your comment that he's your favorite. I'm with it. Hey, if that's your man, 50 grand, go ahead and root for him. But yeah, so short story long for your answer. I'm looking at the position battles on defense, linebacker, offense, slot receiver. Boom. Let's get it.
Muhammad playing the role of Falconer TRX during our mid-afternoon show this week. Muhammad, we appreciate you. Let's go Monday afternoon Canes Talk with Cam.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, lots of people on linebackers. Champ 100, I believe our linebackers are better than advertised. Deepest for us in years. Absolutely, especially because we brought in some transfers. And we've been recruiting the position fairly well, in addition. Kellen Wiley from Armwood this year, Adarius Hayes last year, who's, big and strong and, with incredible arm length and everything and twitch, Popo Aguirre, Wesley Saint and more, Bobby Pruitt and everything. The Washington twin that stayed, Bobby, also, Slug Bruce says he wants to see Popo. Popo played a lot. Popo was the first guy off the bench last year. I think it's incumbent upon, hey, if you want to play, show up during practice. Show up and show out. So, don't be. I went to a recruiting event one time, and there was a 5-star recruit who was ducking reps against other blue chippers because mentally he was very soft, and this was proven out over time. And I've told the story on here. I'm not even gonna censor his name. It was Devonair Clarington, the tight end, who played at 5 or 6 different high schools down here, and it was at the it used to be Nike's The Opening back when they had that branding at American Heritage. That was the same year that the famous Robert Burns experience as a freshman happened when he broke the record for spark score, and you saw the progression of media making the trek from the front field to the back field, because they're like, it was their stadium field and the back fields where they had like other events, and like there were so many people who were like, yo, like it was like whispers in the wind, like, are you seeing what this kid is doing over here? It was that same event, right? Anyways, Clarington was ducking reps. Jordan Palmer, Carson Palmer's brother, was there. This is the same event where he had to teach Torrance Gibson how to throw a football, because Torrance Gibson didn't know how to throw a football. Jordan Palmer. Same event. A lot going on. Anyways, Jordan Palmer from 50 yards away blows a whistle and comes running over to scream in this kid's face, right? Because you're the biggest MF out here. You should be, mossing dudes and shrugging them off you, and you're over here waiting until this 5-foot A-lo, because you don't want to show up. I say all that to say, if you want to be like Devonair Clarington and not show up, and like be there in body but not connected to practice, right? You're gonna be on the sideline. You're gonna need to be out there. You need to be like the same year Tyler Fuzzy Muffin Bird, who from Naples was committed to Miami, ended up going to Tennessee in the end. That kid, and he was a big outdoorsman, Tyler Bird. So he had like a camo baseball hat on because he likes to go fishing and everything. And that kid skipped into the front of the line so many times that they had to like placate him and be like, look, you're gonna get the reps, but we need to let some of these other guys get on the field. Please. Like literally, like multiple people running the event had to talk him down and be like, can I get 2 reps for somebody else? Right? I need you to be like that. I need you not to be like Devonair Clarington. And if you don't have that Tyler Bird from that experience, like engagement in practice, if you're not fighting with coach, be like, I need more reps. I need to be the front. I need to be working on. I need to be here early and stay late. If you're not putting in that work, especially at linebacker, you ain't gonna play. Because trust and believe, if you think that Corey Heatherman brought in Muhammad Toure to sit on the bench and coach next to him, you're out of your rabbit ass mind. And I'm talking to the players. So look, literally, you got new coaches and they brought new guys, plural, in because it needed to get better. If that's not the flashing red light to you, hey, yo, I need to be on my grind. And whoever is on their grind and performing the best will play. So for Slug Bruce, if it's Popo Aguirre, great. For Muhammad Hussein, if it's OG Bobby Pruitt, great. If it's any or all or whatever combination, cool. But it's going to work itself out on the practice field. Trust and believe that.
Devonair Carrington. Why don't I remember this name?
Devonair Clarington. He was a big tight end, probably early 2010s. It would have to have been, so like around 2012. Yeah, 2012 or 13. Played at Champagnat down here. He transferred to a bunch of different schools. Everybody wanted him. He committed to LSU and then bounced around. And then it was Texas and then all kinds of different stuff. But he was like, 6'5", 240. I mean, he was just this monster guy. But yeah, he played famously at like 5 high schools and then transferred around and then fell off the face of the earth in the world of football. I don't know what is going on in his life, but yeah, it was a big known thing. But anyways, I say all of that, that aside, if you want to duck reps, if you're not on the grind to do better and be better, expect to continue to be on the sideline during the season. I'm sorry about that. Star FLA, Bobby Washington is a freak, big and fast. Just need to see what healthy looks like. Hey, and Muhammad Toure has had a couple of injuries, and that's taken him off of the field. So yeah, we shall see. And Star FLA saying that he looks like a washing machine. Bro, whatever. Some people are built the way that they're built. He's a pretty good athlete and a pretty good power forward football player.
We do appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football, and keep in mind that we can partner with you, help your own personal brand or any kind of business that you're associated with. So just let us know. Hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. We never leave a sponsor, a partner with us, disappointed in any such way.
Yeah. IMAX. Hey, look, there are shared experiences across the diaspora, my friend. I heard that from my grandfather, God rest his soul, John Underwood Sr. But yeah, man, you're robbing it. Hey, it's a thing. So I don't even know where I pulled that from years ago, but yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. And we've got a comment here from Rodney asking about whether there's a battle for the backup quarterback spot.
It's going to be Emory. And that sigh was me thinking. That sigh wasn't like indicative of his skill for that position and level. I think not Jack Nickel, Luke, the younger brother who plays quarterback, I think he has a bright future. I don't think the future for him is now. You know, I don't think he's a freshman who's going to come in and start. And I mean, with Carson, you're not going to. The bar is so high for relative to where Luke Nickel is. The bar he would have to clear to be better right now for this team than Carson Beck is astronomical. It's just not going to happen. So you're not going to just throw him out there. You're not just going to burn a red shirt when you have one of the 10, arguably 5. I'm more in the 5 to 7, 6 to 8 range on in the country for Carson. But you have a top 10 quarterback in the country. You're not going to waste the youth that you have now when you have that ability, So when you have the Carson in front of him on the roster. So all of that being said, I expect it to be Emory. The only other option I could see is Judd, but I just don't think that he's to that level of player, even though he is big and strong. Former basketball player who's averaging 20 and 10 almost. In high school, like. He's a great athlete, strong arm, 6'6", well-built body and everything. I just don't think that he's particularly good at football at this level. So that brings us back to Emory. Is he the franchise? Absolutely not. Is he going into year 3 with multiple game starting experience, been in the system, and developed his skill? Now, again, I'm not saying that it is first-round draft pick, but there has been development for him. And if there was something that happened to Carson for a drive, for a half, we'll say. I don't want it to be so I'm knocking on wood on my desk. But let's pretend that it were. My example from last week, the Sunshine Lawrence game where he had to come in, or where he got knocked out and Chase Bryce had to come in years ago. Remember that one? If something like that were to happen, I'm giving the ball to Emory Williams. I don't necessarily – now, it's going to be a lot of running the ball. It's going to be the ball, playing conservative in the pass game. That ball's going to come out on time, right? There are specific circumstances that he will need to have to be successful. We have a great offensive line. We have an incredible run game. We have a plethora of talented receivers, though few have actually been very productive at this level before. But everything is there for him to plug in and not ruin the season. So I would expect him to be the number 2. Your game operations, you're in and out of the huddle, just like doing all of the things to a B-flat basic. Sorry, that's music talk. To a foundational kind of a level. You know what I mean? Just like I need a quarterback in this huddle, come out of the sideline, call the play, get everybody lined, check with the center, and set the protection, get the ball hiked, not fumble it because he hasn't been in any game operations, run the offense and maybe hit a couple of throws. Not asking the world of them, but no team is asking for the world from their backup quarterback anyway. My only thing with that extending out is if through whatever path you want to say, it comes to pass that our number 2 quarterback would have to play extended amount. Games, rest of season, whatever it were. Okay. And not talking, again, I don't wish injury or whatever or ill. I'm just saying if we got to that place where the number 2 quarterback is not, because you're always a play away from being that guy. If Miami gets into that place, I still think it's Emory Williams. I just think everything changes. But just like as a number 2 behind the clear number 1, like, last year Emory Williams played 12 snaps until the ball game. You know what I mean? Like in that same kind of a role, I think that it's him. But if that role then becomes expanded, number 1, danger Will Robinson, we're in trouble. Like Coral Gables, we got a problem. And then you have to reevaluate things. But in the guise of you have a number 1 quarterback who's going to lead this program and lead this team, and we need another guy behind him, Emory.
So when you say possibly everything changes, does that mean because you go from playoff contender to, okay, let's see if Emory Williams can nurse us through some games, because the rest of the roster and the 2 deep on both sides of the ball is talented enough to be a top 2 team in the ACC, possibly with the right game planning and protection of the quarterback, all those things with Emory Williams. Are you talking more if he goes off the rails that they go to Luke Nickel because he's got the brighter future and they just try to give him the reps to be the guy for the future?
I mean, there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. You know what I mean? It would take me painting a hypothetical scenario that would make everyone watching and listening very, 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 very angry for how the season is going, to get to the point where, hey, cool, punt, go to the freshman. Well, think about, this team pushing for ACC championship game and beyond, which is where we are, which is where this roster is, which is where this program has built to then being cool, we're going to go to the young guy because the best laid plans that we've had have gone awry. I know that that's super duper duper worst case scenario. So I don't think that it's realistic, but I don't think it's realistic, but in the world where multiple paths forward could happen, it's just one of those that,
Because as we agreed in reviewing the schedule a couple of weeks ago, Notre Dame is most likely the most difficult game on the schedule, and Florida could be number 2. Am I missing somebody there?
I mean, at SMU
I don't think so.
in November 1st.
Yeah. But unless things drastically change, Notre Dame's going to, they're ranked in the top 5 in the nation right now. So if people play to their ability and what is expected, and Florida might be the second most difficult, those are both non-conference games. This team could limp along with, and I know you don't want to lose to Notre Dame and Florida. When's the Florida game? The Florida game's mid-October.
No, week 4, September.
Oh, it's week 4. So, this team could be 5-0 in conference play. And even though they've got 2 losses in that kind of a scenario with a backup quarterback, they could be beating the lesser underlings of the ACC and still be in contention for a conference championship, though it seems to be teetering a bit.
Right. But I think that that's not even a worst case for me is you talk about teams playing to the level of their talent. Miami doesn't do that. It's not 5-0 in conference. It's some number in the loss column greater than 0. In addition, now you're looking at 5-3 overall, 6-4 overall with some of these other shenanigans. And then obviously without Carson Beck, which was kind of how so again, it is entirely hypothetical. And that would be where that would be something where it would be hey, let's reevaluate the state of everything at that level. Way more than okay, you lose 1 or more non-conference game, and then you get to the ACC conference, and then you're just rolling. Yeah, that wasn't where my brain was. Shut up, phone.
Appreciate the contributions, everyone. Glad everyone could make it here on a Monday afternoon. And Cam has addressed the slot position, but we got a super chat coming in from Slug Bruce about Ray Joseph.
He at the root of the word, of the question. Can Ray Ray win the slot? Yes. Will he? That's another story. But he unquestionably has the ability. Size, speed, skill. I think it's interesting how everyone has lauded Malachi Tony's work ethic for, film study, individual skill development work, whether that's working on his routes, working on his timing, working on the jugs machine, just catching extra passes, all the things that he's been doing. To me, it's been very loud. And I think the silence has been loud also. And this is entirely me talking. This is my opinion. That, okay, because we're talking about Malachi Tony to light a fire under Ray Ray Joseph's ass. So we're saying, yeah, great, cool, awesome. Hey, I did it when I taught. Sopranos, incredible. I hear what you did in sectionals. I know that you did your work. You came and had your syllables written. You knew everything. Bang, spread. Alto's over there talking. Underwood. Oh, come back in. You know who's doing really well? Sopranos. Tiara, section leader, appreciate you. Maria, assistant section leader, I see what y'all are doing. I see that you work together on lunchtime. I know y'all got some classes together. You still working on the stuff for when we have this competition and when we go to districts and then we go to the states. Alto's talking about, what? We're the ones who started the lunchtime thing. We don't even do lunchtime in the cafeteria. Underwood, we be in the course room. We be over here doing the work. And you're talking about them, right? I feel that there's a this is me again, opinion. I feel that there's a measure of that going on with everything that everybody's been saying about Malachi Tony. Because when pressed about it, there have been people who said, oh, yeah, well, Ray Ray Joseph, he's doing his thing. He's there and he's putting in extra time. Y'all ain't talking about that, though. Y'all ain't out here in these streets on every single podcast and every single talking about, oh, Ray Ray Joseph, you know what he did? He showed up early and he stayed late. Nobody's talking about it, but when asked directly about it, oh, yeah, he's doing it. Yeah, absolutely. So why are you so loud about Malachi Tony? So I think that that's a motivational tactic. And I'm really interested to see. I mean, like, obviously, we're putting athletic performance in. I mean, because, like, this is, we're talking about football. I'm interested to see the makeup of Ray Ray Joseph because he knows he's from here. You know what I mean? He goes to the crib down over, like, y'all know where Edison is, like, over by downtown, bro. Like, the people, his people from around the way, everybody knows that everybody in the world associated with or commenting on the Miami Hurricanes is talking about this other young boy that they brought in to take his job. What you gonna do? You gonna stand up or you gonna sit down? Like, I'm really interested to see it. So can he? Yes. Is he built like that? Is he mentally strong? And you know that, like Mario talks about that, like that mental toughness and everything. This is going to be a real test of his temerity. It's going to be a real test of see, like, dog, are you built or are you not? Because and then we ain't even talking about in this response, talking about the fact that after spring, they didn't even leave it heads up and just say, hey, you know what? It's going to be 10, because I believe Malachi's wearing 10. It's going to be 5 or 10 at the slot. Nah, you went and get a 5th-year senior to come in also. So it's not even just you versus him. It's you versus him. And then this other dude we bringing in too. If it were me, and you see I'm getting hyped up. If it were me in that situation, I'm taking that as a personal affront. Not even, I get that you got to recruit Malachi Tony, just the way you had to recruit me from when I was in high school and I was committed to Clemson. But now you're going to go get, after spring practice, you're going to go get another guy? Nah, you got me up, boy. Like, I don't know. But he can. Ray absolutely can win this battle. But it's good. Hey, to be a fly on the wall down in the Carroll Sofer practice facility and on the Green Tree practice fields every single day. Because, boy, that's that one. That's that one. When Mark asked about position battles, that's immediately where I know you might not have been here right at 3 o'clock when we started. That was where I started with it. But, like, yeah, that's that one. That's that one.
So typically Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So this means we will not be here this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can blame me for that one, but we are here now, and that will make you even more anxious and ready to go. The following Wednesday, when we got some camp news and some good things to go over, hopefully a week from Wednesday.
Yeah, man. Champ 100 interior D line position battle is interesting. It is interesting, but again, there's going to be tons of rotation. And it's who's going to be the first one off the sideline, or who's going to be off the sideline in the key moments. Really, getting David Blay, great. Justin Scott taking a big step forward. Ahmad Moten Sr. To the next comment from Star FLA, Artavius Jones, who, I think is taking that developmental step so he can be in that maybe, I hope to the same magnitude, but after only a year, of growth and development, like Ahmad Moten Sr. And I think Artavius Jones was a more heralded, recruit, a little bit bigger, faster, stronger, in his developmental path, coming in. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I'm less concerned about it because I think we know all of the names along the defensive line already, who are actually going to play meaningful snaps, again, from edge to interior across the line, and we have a deep and talented group. So I'm less concerned there. It just becomes allocating the snaps among those who we reasonably suspect will play at linebacker, which, maybe this is in response to, I think there's more variability because, and just less certainty.
Been searching through the comments that come to the channel throughout the week. We do appreciate those as well, in addition to what we handle here on the live show. Is there anything regarding recruiting that's happened in the last week of note?
Hey, Cortez Redding from Jonesboro. Welcome. Come on down. Welcome to the U. Teammate of Jontavius Wyman. And that's an answer to the question I posed last week of, I have no idea where Miami goes at safety. That is at least a step in that direction. So another blue chip guy, great. Love to have that. So you got teammates from the same school, one playing corner, one playing safety. Really, really excited by that. And then we'll see about some of the other things. And of course, just kicking the tires on other guys and everything. I do want to highlight one thing from last year's recruiting class. As a freshman, Kellen Wiley, who I can only assume is the father of Kevin Wiley Jr. So, thank you for showing up, my good sir. And I wish the best to you and, your son and everything. And as a Miami alum myself, I know he's going to have a great experience there in all endeavors. But so, you're going to love when they put Kevin Wiley Jr. in a Notre Dame game. Might be the last time he comes off the field. Hey, it could be. He is a very, very talented player. I'm super excited that he's on this roster. And like all the other players, and I did mention him in my review of the linebacker position. I hope you heard that. He is a player with talent and size, speed and athleticism and skill who could, go into this, season and play a lot, especially at that position. And if not necessarily on base defense a lot, I would expect he's somebody who finds his way onto specials, which is where we've had guys, and then growing them up through there. So again, hey, thank you for being here. Congratulations and good luck. But yeah, man, I will look forward to that as well. And even, in a press box that's, hermetically sealed with like triple pane glass, wherever you're sitting, my good sir, I'm sure that I will hear you screaming. So that is going to be a wonderful occasion for you, man.
Sweet. That is really fun stuff when we get the family showing up for sure.
Yeah.
There's some of the metrics on Cortez Redding.
You see a top 350 player in the country, number 39 in the state of Georgia, 26th overall safety, 4-star, both internal and 12-4-7, and then in the composite as well, 6 foot 175. And again, teammates with Jontavius Wyman, who committed to Miami earlier, or flipped from Georgia, I believe. So yeah, a guy with size and skill and potential. So yeah, very, very excited about that. It hopefully will not be the last commitment that Miami gets in this recruiting class, because there's still plenty of recruiting work to be done. But yeah, woke up from a nap this weekend and saw that. I was like, oh, hey, all right, yeah. So pretty cool stuff.
The defensive numbers for Cortez Redding look like this past season. He had 89, make it 96 total tackles with the assists added in, and 10 tackles for loss and 4 INTs.
Very nice. Yeah, I'll have to watch film on him. I haven't gotten around to it. Talk more about him. But yeah. Mr. IGS. First time I think I've seen that tag, but hey, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the question. What's going on, man? If Cam Ward was an A+ for Miami last year, what would you give Carson Beck for this year? Okay, well, I'm going to approach this without any extra thing as like the move to get him. I'm not going to obviously grade Carson Beck's performance because we haven't played football yet. Duh. This season, he's played plenty, but not this year. I would say that this is a solid A. I don't think that there was a better quarterback out there to get. If you want to say John Mateer, that would probably be your A+. But yeah, there was nobody better out there to go get, unless I'm forgetting somebody. I mean, $8 million Nico wanted to go back, to the left coast. So fine. And if you want to say that you would prefer, I mean, honestly, for the longevity, I might prefer Nico. But Nico also struggled last year even more than Carson did. You know what I mean? And without the track record of success either. As in, Carson played multiple previous years. So yeah, I'm going to give this grade an A. I don't think that that's grade inflation, which is something that's been plaguing the world of education for eons, but another point for another time. But I don't think that there was a better player out. I mean, and again, if you want to say John Mateer was better, there's your A+. Fine. So to scale it. But yeah, you went out and got one of the top 2 and arguably not 2 players at the most important position that you had and especially if you're comparing it to having Emory start this whole year. I mean, if I were inclined to give it an A-, which I were not, then that would elevate it in and of itself because of what it's preventing me from watching this team from having to play with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm giving that
a great portion of the best teams in the country last year had transfer quarterbacks. The market the previous offseason was enormous. Cam Ward, Will Howard, on and on and on across the board. Guys I'm forgetting right now. But anyway, Tyler Van Dyke, I guess we'll throw him in just because he comes to mind, but not at the top of the board. But DJ, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, most teams had at that level had a transfer quarterback. There were just a ton of guys, but this past offseason, very few. When you look at how many elite teams are playing first-time starting quarterbacks, just completely inexperienced quarterbacks right now, that's not been the case for I don't know when. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Texas, Georgia. Off the top of my head, Georgia.
The place that Carson went, you know what I mean? It's more than a couple, man. Yeah, it's a lot. So I mean, considering that, so I mean, using what Mark just said to further my point, so there was a dearth of talent of this caliber in the portal, even as opposed to last year when there were multiple guys, not of Cam Ward's specific. Individual talent and production, but in a similar world of conversation. Because Nico wasn't even really out there. Nico was at Tennessee until the spring game, and then was just like, cool, I'm not playing here anymore because y'all won't give me more money, which wasn't even the same thing. You know what I mean? So he went all the way through. So it was really Carson and John Mateer. And then, I mean, you want Jerry Mensah, who went to cool. You want Malik not, you know what I mean? But like, there were really two dudes of real top level consequence. And Miami got one of them. Hey, absolutely.
Yeah. And again, I'm just looking at teams, just trying to spark my memory. But the year before, Will Rogers, Dylan Gabriel, a lot of other guys. Yeah. I just remember counting like 15 like accomplished quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks the previous offseason.
Yep. So again, I think that the dearth in numbers this year as opposed to last, and you still in both, you get number one last year and then conservative like top two this year. Come on. So it is my aunt Sandra's birthday and my cousin Harlan's birthday, both today. So the Underwood family group chat is going crazy right now.
Happy birthday.
And it was my Aunt Carolyn. So like, a lot of birthdays in the summer on both sides of my family. Anyways, Showboy Kane. What's the best pancake spot in Broward County? It used to be the original Breakfast House, which is now closed, unfortunately, right next to the Museum of Science and Discovery. That hurt my heart. I love that little itty-bitty spot. There was another spot. I saw it on social media the other day. I do not remember. I will have to think about it. But I, like you, love pancakes. The superior breakfast to waffles and French toast. I said what I said.
And of course, you're going to give us the more interesting answer. I would just say, where's your local Waffle House? But as specifically about pancakes there, I get it. Yeah. But
local Waffle House, the only one that I know of is it's over by Nova Southeastern, off of Davie Road and just south of 595. Have had many a 3 a.m. coming back from shenanigans meals at that location. And it witnessed fisticuffs because Waffle House. Fred Langston, yo, Monday show? Hey, man, wanted to keep you on your toes, brother. Dave, I see the one with ribbon. I know that was said during one of my responses. I'm just scrolling down, so I don't know what you're responding to there. Kellen Wiley coming back in again. You sure will hear me. Hey, man, I know that I would. So that is dope. That is dope. Inked Kane with a recruiting update for us. Brett College to USC, the IMG offensive lineman. And, he follows it up and saying another whiff. Miami has 6 offensive linemen committed in this class. Would I have taken Brett College? Absolutely. I am very not despondent about that from a numbers standpoint. I mean, like, he is a blue chip player. I would rather have him on my roster than not. But with the offensive line class, let me say that again. With the best offensive line class in America currently committed, ain't worried about it. Good luck, Godspeed. I would rather have him. I'm not ignoring what you're saying. Look, this is very much a spot where you're not going to get everybody. And we have 6 dudes and, already committed that are all high caliber, including the number 1 player in America. And I know that College A plays inside and Jackson Cantwell plays outside, but I'm comfortably good with this. And but again, would I rather have him than not? Yes. I'm good. Paulo, who is the legacy player that Miami missed on? Sorry. And Kane says he's announcing on August the 2nd, which is Saturday, the day before my mother's birthday. Okay. I mean, if it is, then it is. And USC is, they're spending money in their NIL as much and as well as anybody in America right now, which is not me casting aspersions. It's just me laying it out because this is the world that we live in. And again, we have the best offensive line class committed in America presently, so I'm good. Legacy player. I mean, just look at the list of guys. I mean, if you mean legacy, like family member, I don't know that I have a categorical list as I'm going down my brain, because Miami has had several legacies play here who didn't end up being as good as their forebears. But in general, just like look at the list of all the guys from South Florida who've gone elsewhere. Yeah. Martin Dubé. At last, you guys are on Atomic Watch. It's Central African time, 6 hours ahead. Hey, man, thank you for checking us out, whether it's live or later. 12-0, says Martin Dubé, for the Miami Hurricanes this year. And I like where your head's at.
Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, it'd be something we haven't seen in a good long time. But I mean, hey, I'm wearing my 2001 shirt right now, Perfect Storm. Like, shout out to Home Field Apparel. Not a sponsor, could be. But yeah, man, like it's been a good long time since we had a 0 in the loss column. And I would personally love it if that were to be the case this year.
Whose apparel company should I be writing down right now? Who should I be taking note of?
Oh, come on. I've said it before. I'll give it to you offline. But plenty, yeah, man. So, yeah. There was something else I wanted to say. No. Mr. IGS, I'd rather go 15-0. Look, you got to start 12-0 to go 15-0, brother. You know what I mean? Like you got to get to the one. We got to hit Martin Dubé's number before we get to your number. So they work in tandem. He was just talking about the regular season, which is usually where we focus. But I'm with you. Yeah, I'm down for 15-0.
There you go. Actually, 15 will not do it. 15 will not do it. You got an ACC
right,
game to play. Got to get to 16.
Right. So 16 then, cool. Yeah, so Mr. IGS, trying to be out there, well actually. So we well actually do you back again. But CJ, this is the thing. 10-2, as long as we beat Notre Dame and Florida. That means then you're signing up for 2 ACC losses, my friend. And which 2 ACC teams? Like Rodney Theoc. Yeah, how about 1-0? Cool. Mario Theoc here. With coach speak. How about going 1-0 every week? Fine. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I got it. But in this one, again, I'm not signing up for 2 ACC losses. Not with this roster. Not with this schedule. No, I'm not me. And if it happens, it would be like last year, when you lose a game or 2 to inferior teams that you shouldn't have lost to, finding a way to play down to or below the level of the opposition yet again. So, but again, in your scenario, right? Because I know you don't mean beat Notre Dame in Florida and you lose to USF at home and then only 1-8. I know you don't mean that. Because I know you don't. So yeah, I hear you, but in a perfect world, I get where 2 losses, but you beat those, and because Clemson's on the schedule and they're and then maybe you have 3 super hard non-conference games. So it's, Florida, Notre Dame, and Texas. And so you're like, cool, we'll lose to Texas and Clemson. So it's 1 non-conference and 1 conference, but, and the Clemson loss was by 1 point. So it was really, really close. It was a ESPN Instant Classic type of, remember that? Man, I used to love that branding. Anyways, type of a thing. I hear you, but that's in a fictional world where like that doesn't exist with this year's team and the schedule that they play. So I hear you. Yeah. But again, as long as we make it to, brother, we lost 2 ACC games last year, and we're twiddling our thumbs down here in South Florida while 2 other teams were up in Charlotte. So I'm not. We literally saw what you wanted not go the way that you thought you wanted. You know what I mean? So it is a struggle for me clearly to just say, oh, it's going to be the same results with a different thing. And obviously, it depends on how the other teams in conference play. If there's only, one team with or 1 losses in conference, but like, I don't know, brother.
Yeah, because you got to think Clemson's pretty much, I don't want to call anyone a lock by any stretch of the imagination, but man, they are a pretty heavy favorite to get there. And if you had Clemson on the schedule and lost 2 other ACC games, then you'd have only 1 other game that you would need them to lose to win that tiebreaker, take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
But man, you lose 2 conference games, and like you just played out, didn't work out last year.
That's what I'm saying. Slug Bruce, Carson Beck is better fit in this offense than Cam. He will take the check. Not better, different. Different. Because some of those times that I wanted Cam to take the check down ended up being an incredible highlight and a touchdown. So, and also sometimes I wanted him to take a check down, ended up as a crossbody throw for a pick 6 at Cal. I get it. They're not the same player. They do things differently. I mean, they both play well, but they're different. So, yeah, and the offense is going to look a measure different as well. Not realistic, not too much schematically, but just like from a ratio standpoint of like, because we entrusted Cam Ward to have the ball and throw it vertical all the time, right? And he had the, freedom to check to whatever he wanted, within the structure of the offense, but it was, oh God, I thought my computer was about to die. Jesus. But yeah, he, is going to run around and extend plays, and he was looking for the home run kill shot every single time. Carson Beck, throw long touchdowns? Yeah, but he doesn't, they don't play the same way. They don't play the position in the same manner. Charles Johnson, I'm not going to put that on the screen because I don't necessarily agree with you. I think that Carson Beck is more talented than you're going to give him credit for. And yeah, I think this is where the pendulum is swung. But yeah, Carson is a very good player who has played very well at the highest level at the University of Georgia for multiple seasons. Like I said last week, I think that the thing in people's mind is the strip sack from the SEC championship game and the Texas game on the road in the middle of the season. And those 2 data points are exclusively the thing that people are thinking of when they think of Carson Beck as a quarterback. I urge and implore you to expand your view of him and go watch more, because he's way more than his arm getting hit and that sack fumble, right? And he's way more than that 1 game, which was terrible. Objectively, it was horrible. It was. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you it's not, but there's more to him than you're saying. Man. Starfilet, I thought 10 would get us in the playoff until the politics started. Yeah. Oh, well. It is what it is. Leroy the Black Ninja Turtle saying 11-1. Oh, sorry.
Who's going to be in that playoff? Who is Miami going to unseat? There's nobody that had 9 wins in that playoff.
Well, no, from the conversation point of if Clemson didn't steal a spot, they were going to put Alabama in instead of Miami. When the comparison was not Miami, a 10-2 Miami, and it was a 10-2 Miami and a 10-2 Tennessee. That should have been the point of comparison. But to his point, Then the politics started, so then they leapt up Alabama in front of Miami. If the bid had not been stolen by Clemson, then it would have been that. So that's where he's coming from. I know we disagree on that, but hey,
well, I'd have to go back and reset it. But if you're telling me, because I don't remember, that Alabama finished ahead of Miami at the end of the regular season at 9-3 versus Miami's 10-2.
They did. That literally, we argued on here about that, and it was they're playing in the SEC and ignoring the fact that they got blown out by a bad Oklahoma team who just bullied them and everything. And that's literally
I don't know if they were a bad Oklahoma team. They had a bad offense.
Okay.
If Miami lost to a Georgia Tech team that was 7-6 in the ACC and Oklahoma was 6-7, they were basically, there was a one-game difference between the two. But so you can call Georgia Tech a bad team. Are we going to call them a bad team too?
I mean, okay, fine. If not bad, then decidedly mediocre at best.
Sure.
They weren't good. Mediocre. They weren't good. Fine.
There was one game difference between Georgia Tech and Oklahoma. It's just my point in that Oklahoma played a just much more difficult schedule than Georgia Tech did.
That's fine, but they blew out Alabama is my point.
They did.
Georgia Tech didn't blow anybody out. They didn't blow us out. We lost a game with a blowout. So that exactly that. But then is to the point from Star FLA. So Carson Beck, I don't think he doesn't make the Heisman throw from the Florida game. No, he doesn't do that. No. Marley Bell, this is literally the same exact comment about Cameron Ward from last year. If Carson Beck cuts his turnovers in half, I think we'll be good. If Cam Ward cuts his turnovers down, the exact same thing. And remember, we've seen Carson Beck's turnovers be lower. When? The previous year, when they actually had a decent offensive line and not the worst rushing offense in 30 years at the University of Georgia, the second worst rushing offense in the SEC. So, he had to try to do more because, offensive line was bad and the running game was deplorable. Go look the numbers up. I said it on here last week. I'm not exaggerating. Worst rushing offense in 30 years and the second worst in the SEC overall. And all of that needed to happen for a slight reduction in passing yards, but yes, double the turnovers. So we've already seen it from him. Now, Cam Ward, it was more like, okay, he turns the ball over a lot because there were a lot more fumbles before Washington State. Remember, people were saying, maybe he has small hands and then he's throwing these YOLO balls and blah, 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 and he can't work in the pocket and blah, blah. But it was, I like the same thing. So,
and more drops than any team in the country.
I wasn't even going to bring that up. But yes, that also as well in addition. So all of those things together, it's not just that he didn't Tyler Van Dyke it. It was just like, you know what? You're wearing Tennessee orange. Here's the football. You're wearing Florida blue. Here's the football. He wasn't just doing that randomly, but did he have more turnovers? Absolutely.
And I don't remember what that number was, but I remember hearing that during the SEC championship game, the number, whatever it was in the 40s of dropped passes. So if that gets cut in half, if it's 22 or 24, he completes another 22 or 24 passes at 15 yards a clip, and he throws for another 300, 350 yards, and who knows where the touchdowns go, maybe 2 or 3 more. I don't know.
I think it was more than that, only because people had video of either wide open touchdown, like in the end zone or near with no defender between the receiver and the end zone that hit the turf. So they're the numbers that he had were pretty good. Obviously, turnovers aside, and the Texas game aside, because that was atrocious. He was terrible. But I mean, they could have been really, really good. Let me see. Let me go back here. 404. Shout out to Georgia. Atlanta area code. Carson Beck last year passed for 3,500 yards, 3,485 and 28 touchdowns on 65% completions. That number, if you have the number of drops, is way closer to 4,000 yards with 33 to 35 touchdowns and 7 or 8 interceptions, maybe. I mean, like the numbers look way different if they don't just keep dropping the ball. But all those things together. Leroy wants me to let Carson show the people. Carson's going to show the people one way or another. Star FLA channeling is Herman Boone. We have to be perfect, or we will be, from the movie, I do believe. Met Herman Boone. He actually was doing a tour and everything, and he came by Miramar High School when I worked there. That was Tracy Howard's junior year, 2011, I want to say. And like addressed the whole team and spoke and everything and whatnot. Yeah, like the actual, not Denzel Washington, the real Herman Boone. Yeah. So, yeah. Miami has no room for error. Twice as hard to get half as far. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mike Jesus says Duval. County checking in. Or should I say it like your new football coach? Duval. Or whatever the Jaguars new coach. So he got the intonation on Duval it was all backwards. It was he did his introductory presser and it was so cringe. It was oh my God. Yeah, he got it all the way backwards.
You would think he would have heard it enough during the process of interviewing.
Yeah, but it was like, oh my goodness. Who had to do the Woo Pig when Bobby Petrino went to Texas and he had to do the Woo Pig Suey? And just I'm a lifelong musician, guys. Like certain things of certain tones, like you just like it like you just have to say it right, and he just didn't. But anyway, Kane won. This will be the last one, I believe. Quick question: who's the biggest miss in recent history? Patrick Peterson, who's committed to Miami and then not, or Jeremiah Smith? Both. I mean, they're far enough apart that it could be both. It was very apparent that Patrick Peterson was not going to end up at the University of Miami, like throughout the course of his senior year. There was just way too much smoke about it. And then it was akin to when Miami was recruiting Devontae Smith, the wide receiver who went to Alabama, won Heisman, him. And he was supposed to take his official visit and instead was at his high school team's basketball tournament playing on Friday night. And so asked after the game by a local recruiter, like, cool, so it's Friday, you're supposed to go take this official visit to Miami. Are you going to the airport? Are they flying you out? Like, it's going to be a Saturday to Monday thing, you got are they sending a private jet for you? Like, it was just like, we got a game tomorrow. I'm playing basketball. It's like, brother, I asked you a direct, are you going to Miami question? He said, we got basketball, which again is an answer. It was similar type things with Patrick, then Johnson, now Peterson. Jeremiah Smith, again, if Cam Ward wouldn't have dilly-dallied with the NFL draft, but like it has been reported, I have heard also as well, that like he would have been a Miami Hurricane. But Cam Ward decided to take his time and be on his own schedule, and that didn't fit with Jeremiah's schedule, and we saw what happened. So, yeah, I believe that's that.
All right, folks, as we mentioned right off the top of the show, we are here on a Monday in place of the Wednesday. So join us next Wednesday and get all geared up for that one. Typical time at 7 p.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, it's training camp starting later this week. And so lock in at the State of the U.
Yeah, man, got plenty of stuff up there for you. I just put up a game preview for Stanford. This morning I put that up. So definitely go check that out. Spoiling the piece that I wrote, if the Stanford game was close, something went wrong. Basically, that's pretty much it. So we have that and more coming up for you at stateoftheu.com. There's a lot of stuff up there. And the thing that I was hinting at last week that I can now say because it has been released or announced, all of SB Nation is redesigning. So a brand new website design goes live on Monday, August the 5th. So it will look a little bit different. There'll be a different way to interact with the website. It'll definitely work better on mobile, which has been something that, the mobile optimization has been central to this structural redesign and everything. So yeah, really excited for you guys to see it. Myself and the staff, and just all of, just the Vox Media properties have been interacting with the sandbox of the new back-end system and previewed the front end. So very excited for that to come to you guys and everything on Monday. So, I'm giving you a week's notice of that. So when you wake up next week and then you go on stateoftheu.com for the first time, it's going to look different. It's going to be different. Like, that is the intent. So but I would love to hear from you guys with it and everything. And as always, we're going to be there doing a lot of great stuff. So please come on over and fan with us. You see all my information here, and we'll see you soon.